Assalamu alaikum dear students. Hope you all are doing well. This is your teacher Rosina of subject Social Studies for class 6. So let's begin with the great name of Allah, who is the most merciful and beneficial. In this lecture we will be continuing the lesson or the chapter we were discussing yesterday. So today we will be continuing the chapter number 1. Take out page number 8 of your textbooks. In the previous lecture we have discussed about the different landforms, the geographical areas. Now we will be discussing about the geographical areas of Pakistan. So they are saying here is that Pakistan is divided into 5 major geographical areas. They are the Northern Highlands, Indus River Plain, Balochistan Plateau, coastal areas and deserts. So the Northern Highlands contain the Karakoram, Hindu Kush and Himalaya mountains. They are discussing about the Northern Highlands, northern area where there are the different mountains, different ranges of mountains, for example Karakoram, Hindu Kush and Himalaya, and they then tell us about the length of or the height of the all the ranges of the mountains they are present in the they are in the mountainous regions of the Pakistan. Then we have the Indus River. Indus River is the Indus River and its tributaries means the other rivers like Ravi, Chenab, Jhelum. They flow through the country from the Kashmir region to down south to the Arabian Sea. So these all regions, the Indus River and all the tributaries, they flow from the Kashmir to the Arabian Sea. Then we have the Balochistan Plateau, and they are Balochistan Plateaus are located in the southwest region. This is the southwest region, and so these are located in the Balochistan. These are the southwest region of Pakistan, and they consists altitude from 600 to 3000 meters. I hope you all know what the plateaus are. Plateaus are like the small mountains, but they are flat from above and they do not have the height as much as the mountains have. So now move towards the next chapter, that is human geography. So human geography is also known as cultural geography. And why does it is called as the cultural geography? Because this branch, we say it is a sub branch of geography, right? So sub branch means that it is the main branch is geography, and then it has other branches. So the cultural geography is one of the branches of the geography, and it tells us in detail about how the communities are formed, how the cultures are different of the people of certain region, how the economies are different, and how the people have interaction with the environment and their relationship with the environment as well. So human geography studies about the life of the human, about their communities, about their cultures, and about their interaction with the environment. And it also studies the human activities, right? Then we have the two main branches, population geography, and we have the settlement geography. So what is population geography? Population geography studies the population of a certain region. It tells us how the population is distributed, and how it tells us also about that how much population is migrated. For example, in Pakistan many people are migrated from Afghanistan. So the population geography tells us that how much people have migrated from Afghanistan to Pakistan. It tells us about the distribution, how they are distributed, how the population is distributed. For example, we have less population in Balochistan as compared to the other regions of the country. Now you see here in a map, these are the areas having less population, and these are the areas having little more population. Then we have these areas, they have more population, and these are the ones having the highest population rate, right? So it tells us about the population rate of a certain area. Currently it is also believed that the population is is increasing at an alarming rate, like the population of the human beings is increasing at a very rapid speed. So the population geography also helps in analyzing that how could this population can be controlled, and how they have to handle such large population. How they are also making plans to handle such large population. Now in 2015, the population of the Pakistan was about 191.71 million, and it made Pakistan the world's 6th largest country in population. Then we have page number 12. There is the settlement geography. Settlement geography means that how the things are being settled in the rural areas and in the urban areas. Rural areas are, for example, the village areas where the village people are living, and the urban areas are the city areas, right? So in the rural areas, population is not much, the population rate is not high, but in urban areas, in the city areas, the population rate is high. So it studies the rural and urban settlements of people and the factors which affect them. Now the study of settlements, housing and buildings are part of this sub-branch. Now this settlement studies that how the population is distributed, how the houses are settled, how the buildings are settled. In rural areas, you will see that there are not that much buildings and houses as compared to the urban. In the city areas, we have a lot of buildings. So the major problem of urban, like city living, is that it is now expanding so much that it is reducing the rural areas where crops are also grown. The housing society's boom can have negative effects. Now what is happening is that the urban living is expanding. People living in the city areas, their population is high as well, and they are expanding, right? And when they are expanding, they are reducing the they are damaging the rural areas. How they are damaging the rural areas? In the rural areas, there are not much buildings, and the people of that area, they grow crops. So the rural areas is helpful for growing crops, but as the urban living is expanding, they are making more and more buildings, and the population is expanding. So the crops growth is also decreased because they are moving towards the rural areas. And the house booming can have negative effects. Now as the houses are being made more, the buildings are being built more, and it is reducing the area of rural regions, it is reducing the growth of crops. So the housing booming, so the housing societies boom can have negative effects. How can they have negative effects? If the crops will not be cultivated and it will decrease the growth of the crops, we will be not having enough food, and the environment will also be damaged. Now moving towards chapter number 3, environmental geography. Now what is environmental geography? Environmental geography studies the environment around us. It is also the sub-branch, and this sub-branch is very important because it relates the scientific or systematic study of the environment and effects on it by the human actions which directly or indirectly affect it. Now environmental geography studies the environment and the effect of human actions on the environment. Now it is a very common thing that as the human population is increasing, they are in need of more houses. So when they are in need of more houses, they cut down the trees to build the more buildings. So when they are cutting down the trees, they are doing the deforestation, and due to the deforestation, our environment is damaged badly, right? We can understand this study is important because we have made huge technological progress, but this process have made few things which might be dangerous for the environment, right? So what happens is that in this paragraph they are saying that this study tells us about how our technological progress have affected the environment around us. We are developing new things, we are making new technologies, and due to those new technologies, the environment around us is being damaged badly. So this analysis of our actions and their effects on the environment requires that we study diverse subjects like sciences, commerce, economics, and social sciences. We should study these subjects as well in order to prevent the damage on the environment. When we will be studying the sciences and the commerce and the economics and the social sciences, we will try to find out, and we will develop the techniques, we will develop the ways, the methods to prevent the environment from being damaging. We will be able to find out the ways, and we will be able to find out the technology that can help us in securing the nature as it is. Then the subjects which come under this field are ecology, environmental science, and other subjects like ethics, geography, policy, politics, law. These all are the subjects that are studied in environmental geography. Environmental geography includes the study of the natural environment, but environmental geography includes the study of the natural environment, built environment, and the relationship between these two, as naturally and built environment affects the natural environment. Now there are two types of environment. One is natural environment and one is built environment, and both of them have effect on each other. Natural environment is that environment that is given to us by the nature. For example, we have the plants, we have vegetation, rivers, lakes, ponds, rocks, and everything else nature has given us without organized human building activities. We have different trees, we have different plants, we have different rivers, lakes. So all those things that are in our environment, that are surround us, those come under the natural environment that are given by the nature. And the built environment are those environments which are built up by the human beings. For example, the buildings, the parks, the green spaces, the cities, and it also includes the supporting structures like pipelines are used in the buildings, the electricity towers are used, the mobile phone towers, and all such things are used. So all those things which are made by the human, by the man, comes under the built environment. And all those things which are given to us, which are present in our surrounding, like mountains and rivers, etc., that are given to us by the nature comes under the natural environment. The built environment is a material and cultural combination made by us for our living convenience. Now the built environment is a material and a cultural combination. Like for example, we need buildings, we need different factories, we need different organizations, we need different house schemes, right? So these are all our needs. So they are made, all these things are made by the human, and they come under the built environment. Then we have the relationship between the natural and built environment. What is the relationship between the natural and built environment? It is the interaction of these two environments that is of importance, since man-made things can sometimes negatively affect the natural things and systems. Now, the man-made things can affect the natural things, right? The factories can affect the natural things, the water, the sewage system, and or the gases, or the waste material that is thrown out of the factories, that has a great negative effect on our environment. For example, trees gives us oxygen, right? Trees are the greatest source of oxygen, but when we want to make a house, we get rid of the trees and plants on our plot where we plan to build our house. Now if we take a plot, if we own an area, we take a plot, right? On that plot we have trees and plants, but when we want to make a house or a building on that plot, we cut down the trees and plants. So we are cutting down the source of oxygen. So it is having a great effect on our environment, because if we will cut down the trees and plants, we will be having less amount of oxygen. Now there are some now let us now learn something about pollution and climate change, as they are perhaps more known to all of us when we talk about environment in our daily lives. Now we will be discussing about the pollution, because we discuss about the pollution a lot in our daily lives, and we come across and we experience the pollution in our daily lives as well. We commonly hear about global warming and industrial waste materials causing pollution. Now we will be discussing about the pollution. Pollution is the introduction of impure and undesirable elements called contaminants. Contaminants are very dangerous elements that contaminates the environment, that poisons the environment, right? So these are all the impurities, the impure things, the undesirable elements, the waste materials, the things that damage, that contaminate, that poison our environment. So the introduction of impure and undesirable elements means that these impure and undesirable elements that are called contaminants, they are moved towards our environment, and they damage our natural environment, and these cause the environment to become unsafe and unhealthy. Pollution can take the form of chemical substances. Now this pollution can take the form of a chemical substances. For example, the gas from, or the smoke from the factories, it is the carbon dioxide, it is full of carbon dioxide. So this chemical is then introduced, it is then mixed in our air, and it causes very dangerous it causes the dangerous diseases and other. It is very unhealthy for our life. And it also are in the form of energy such as heat, light and noise. So it can also form the chemical substances like the smoke from the factories, and other energies such as heat, such as light and such as noise. The noise is also comes under the pollution, under the noise pollution. The elements that cause pollution are called pollutants. Now in this paragraph, they are saying is that the pollution has been affecting the human life since a very long time. Like from the earlier human civilization, it is being affecting the environment around us, right? So when the first time the people started making the fire is one of the element which eats up the oxygen. It distinguishes the oxygen, it destroys the oxygen, right? So the elements like fire, now you see the earliest form of pollution started from prehistoric times, like before we have even from the time before we have the recorded history, right? So times when we lighted the first fires, when the people started the first fires, what happened was that from that time the people or the human civilization is facing the pollution and its dangers, because the fire eats up the oxygen we need to breathe, and it leaves the carbon residue, the carbon remains. Later in the Bronze and the Iron Age, these were the ages, right? These were the time, these were the eras, these were the time durations known as the Bronze and the Iron Age. Metal shaping into tools and objects called forging appeared to be a key element in the creation of significant air pollution levels. Now what happened was that in the Bronze and the Iron Age, people they started making different objects. So that was another way of polluting the environment. At that time, the pollution was comparatively less in scale and could be handled by nature. But that time, the man-made things or the built environment was very less as compared to the natural environment. So one of the benefit of that time was that the natural environment could have overcome the built environment. If there was pollution, it was removed by the natural environment, because at that time the pollution was less. It was comparatively less. Comparatively means that it was less as compared to the today's environment pollution. So at that time the pollution was less, so it could have been removed from the environment by the natural environment, right? Because the trees were more in number, so if they burnt the fire, so the amount of oxygen, for example, if the amount of oxygen the fire could have eat up, that was much less, right? Because there were a lot of trees and the natural environment was more in number, and the pollution was comparatively less. But nowadays the pollution is much more as compared to the natural environment. The human civilizations in the world grew in number and technology, and pollution levels increased immensely to the point that they started endangering. Endangering means it started causing damage. It was one of the reason it was dangerous for the environment. The damaged environment offers unhealthy living conditions for humans and animals, and this is exactly what happened with such increased levels of pollution. Now what they are saying is that as the time passed by, the human civilization, it grew. It started to grow, and the people and as the new generation came, by the time they started making new technology. So with the making of the new technology, the pollution increased, the pollution level increased in the environment, and and the pollution then causes very dangerous, it is very dangerous for not only for the environment, but the pollution is dangerous for the humans as well. Okay, now they say that there are some of the debate in the fields of technology. Technology, for example, we have mobile phones, we have computers, we have laptops, and other forms of the technology. So now there is a great debate. Some of the scientists, they say that the mobile phones are also dangerous for the environment and for the human body as well, because the mobile is having some sort of radiation which could be hazardous. Hazardous means dangerous for us if we use the mobile for a long time, and if we keep using mobile for a long time, and the mobile is close to us, it is near to our bodies, so it could damage our body cells as well, right? So it says that some believe that even as common a thing as our mobile sets emit unhealthy radiation. So the mobile phones, they release some of the unhealthy radiations, unhealthy energy. It has unhealthy rays which could be dangerous for us if we keep the mobile near to our body for a long time. Similarly is the case for Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi has signals, right? So the Wi-Fi signals, they move in the air. For example, we have the wireless mobile phones. We do not have the wires with our phones. We have wireless. Those towers of our mobile connections, and they send the signals to our mobile phone. The Wi-Fi, it sends the signals to our mobile phones. So those signals, they travel in the air, right? So it releases some of the energy, some of the dangerous radiations into the air, and it could be very dangerous for us if we keep using mobile phone for a long time, and if we keep it close to us for a long time. Okay, then we have the climate change. Now, how does the climate change, and what the climate change means? It is a change in the weather patterns when weather changes. If you can see that there is a lot of the climate change nowadays in this century. In the very long time ago, the temperature in the April, May, and June, it was a bit moderate. It was not as hot as we are facing the summers nowadays. Now the month of April and May, especially the months of the May, June, July, and August, the temperature is too hot. It is extremely hot. Sometimes it becomes above 45 degrees centigrade, where the temperature, where the weather is unbearable. So this is all because of the climate change because of the global warming. Right now, if you see this, the winter season is for 2 to 3 months. The maximum winter season is for 3 months, right? And then we do not face the spring, we do not experience the winter. It directly comes towards the summer. So this is the reason, because this is the reason of the climate change. So when the climate changes, the weather pattern changes. When that changes lasts for an extended period of time, which could be decades or millions of years, and when the weather changes, okay, so when the weather changes, when the weather pattern changes, they that could be for the decades means 10 years, right? And it could be for the million of years. It refers to a change in average weather conditions, or more a fewer extreme weather events like heat waves, cold waves, cyclones and floods, etc. Now when the climate changes, it could result in different event in different weather events as well. For example, the heat waves, we face the heat waves, we face the cold waves, we have the cyclones, and we have the floods. Climate change can be caused by several factors. Now there are the reasons why a climate change could be caused. It could be caused because of the solar radiation, like variations in the solar radiation. Plate tectonics, okay, solar radiation is that outside the earth, outside the ozone layer, there are some of the very energetic, very strong atoms, very strong neutrons, protons, very strong nucleus, right? There are very strong radiations that are emitting from the sun. So the ozone layer is protecting the environment, is protecting us from the dangerous rays of the sun, or from all the radiations that are outside the ozone layer, right? So now when there are the when there is the variations in the solar radiation, when there is the climate change, when there is the global warming, ozone layer is having a hole inside it. You must have heard about it, that ozone layer is damaging. It is because of the climate change. Plate tectonics, okay, the climate change can also happen with the plate tectonics. Now what are the plate tectonics? We say that the earth is made up of several plates, several layers, right? The earth is not only a one layer. Earth has core, and in that core, the center of the earth, there is a volcano, right? So in that volcano, all the time the and the volcano all the time, what happens is that there is the volcanic explosion. So when there is the volcanic explosion, there are many gases, and when those gases have the pressure on them, they try to move towards the crust of the earth, toward the outer surface of the earth. And due to that gas pressure, due to that explosion in the core of the earth, we face the earthquakes, and due to that earthquakes, we have the climate change as well. And the climate change could be caused because of the plate tectonics as well, when there is the and the eruption of volcanoes, when there is the eruption of volcanoes. So these are some of the reasons we can face the climate change. But most dangerous factor causing the climate change is our interaction with our environment. These are some of the cases in which the climate can change, but one of the most important factor is, one of the most dangerous is our interaction with our environment. And this is we cannot control the solar radiation, we cannot control the plate tectonics, right? That is all natural happenings. But we can control our interaction with our environment, we can control the population, but we do not have the awareness. We can control it, but unfortunately we do not. Why is the reason? Because of our lack of awareness. We do not have the knowledge, we are not aware of our environment and our relationship with our environment. So for that, we have to get to know what could we do to what could be the ways to protect our environment. So for that, we have to study the environment. And certain human activities have also been identified as significant causes of recent climate change, often referred to as global warming. As we have learned earlier, the main human activity that causes climate change is pollution. Now, one of the main reason of the global warming is the human activities. Now, what are the human activities? Human activities are those activities which we do. For example, we are making factories. We are the reason of deforestation. We are cutting down the trees. We are the reason for making the noise pollution. We are the reason for making the air pollution, right? So these are all the causes which are these are all the factors which cause the climate change. I hope this is all clear to you. Now we will be moving towards the exercise. Question number 1 is this is from the chapter 1. You have to enlist all the landform features found in Pakistan. We know what are the different landforms we found in Pakistan. There are plateaus, northern highlands, we have plain regions, we have coastal regions, etc. So you have to discuss it with your friends. Then we have the chapter number 2. So chapter number 2, question number 3, you have to do it in your neat notebooks. Question number 3 is describe the elements of human geography. So you have to describe the elements of human geography. You can find out answer on page number 10. The first paragraph, what are the elements of the human geography? So you have to write down that this first paragraph. Try to write down it in your own words, that what is the human geography and how is this human geography, what do we study in the human geography, and what are the elements of the human geography. Then question number 4 is which geography type do the following belong to? So you have to read all these and you have to state whether these are from the population geography or from the settlement geography. So you have to read, for example, the jobs provided near cities are better than the ones provided in villages. So this belongs to the settlement. This belongs to the settlement geography, right? Okay, then we have the population of the suburb is 2,000 people. You have to tell which type of geography is this. There is a water crisis in urban cities due to overconsumption of resources. Number D is there are only 7,000 people who have master's degree from college in the city, and there are 2:1 ratio of males to females in Burma. So you have to tell us which geography type do the following belong. Then we have question number 3. What is climate change? What are its causes? So we have discussed what is a climate change. You can see on page number 15 the last 3 paragraphs. So you have to write down what is a climate change, and then you have to write what are the causes of the climate change. So the paragraph 1 and the paragraph 2 you have to write down in your neat notebooks, but try to write down it in your own words in a simplified form. Then we have question number 6, explain the effects of climate change. Now, how does the climate affect us? We have the climate affects us because it can cause the global warming. You can write this paragraph. Along with this paragraph, you can write few of the points which I am going to tell you. One of the point is that it causes the skin diseases. If the climate changes, the climate change can damage the ozone layer, and when the ozone layer is damaged, it could not filter the dangerous rays that are coming from outside the world. So when those radiations fall on our skin, it could cause different skin diseases. The climate change affects the life of the animals as well, because as the climate is changing, the climate is becoming hot more and more, right? So the animals are animals are dying, the plants are being cut down, due to which we do not have enough crop, and the climate can damage our health as well, because it has a lot of pollution in the air. So you have to write down question number 5 and question number 6 in your neat notebooks. Question number 7 is your task. You have to discuss it with your friends or with your family members. So your task is that you have to write down question number 3 of chapter 2 in your NEET notebooks, and question number 5 and question number 6 of chapter 3 in your NEET notebooks, while rest of the questions like question number 1, question number 2, question number 4 and question number 7, you have to discuss it with your friends or with your family. So this was all for today. If you have any type of questions, if you have any type of queries, if you have any type of confusion, let me know. Write down it in the comments below and I will try to answer them in the next video. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.